My goal is simple. I have until the end of 2025 to finish my backlog, and if I don't, I'll get a platinum tattoo somewhere on my body, and you guys get to vote where it goes. But here's the twist. For every 100 subscribers we gain, I'll add another platinum onto the backlog. Currently, we have 21 games left on our backlog, so today we are playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. This game is rated a 3 out of 10 difficulty and takes approximately 70 hours to plan. There's 42 bronze trophies, 11 silvers and 1 gold trophy on the way to our platinum. We'll be completing this game in 3 steps. Up first is for completing the main story and all the small trophies that come with that. Step 2 is for completing all the side quests and collectibles, and finally step 3 for all the miscellaneous trophies. So let's jump into this graphically stunning game, which of course is to be expected with it being set in Japan. During the first cutscene of the game, we see one of the 2 playable characters who's called Yasuke, who is talking to his boss Oda Nobunaga, who is the one that trains him to become a samurai. And then we fast travel 6 months later and we're on our first raid for him. And this is where we get to experience our very first look at the combat and how insanely fluid it feels. Wait, holy fucking shit, what was that finisher? That game's cool as fuck. And oh yeah, we'll be getting a trophy here also. After literally slaughtering our way through the castle, we then have a cutscene with our second playable character, Nawe. And if you can't already tell, it was actually her village that we raided. So similar to how we got our first trophy with Yasuke, we pop another trophy with Nawe for doing our first assassination. We then get to a vault which we open with our famous hidden knife, which we all know and love from the other Assassin's Creed games. Inside the vault is a box, and this isn't just any normal box because this is a very crucial part to the story of this game.
What's in the box?
Well, we don't get to find out what's in the box yet because the samurai shows up and takes it from us. Oh shit, that's gotta hurt. Fucking hell, how's it not knocked her teeth out? So now we go on a mission to retrieve the box, and this is where we get another stealth related trophy for performing 5 assassinations in a row without being spotted. We then assassinate the dude who is holding the box, but our victory is very short lived because we are then shot, and this is where we see these absolute line-up of cool looking characters called the Shinbaku. These characters are the main aspect of the story because they kill our father and also steal the mystery box from us. So now it is our sole mission to hunt all 12 members down of the Shinbaku to assassinate them and search for the box and revenge for our father. And that's the prologue done and a trophy for doing so. Now here's where Assassin's Creed goes into his usual path of gameplay. A couple of normal missions like talk to his character, blah 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 blah, then assassinate the target, but this time it just feels so much more different. I don't know if it's just because of how well done the characters are, or maybe it's just because I love samurai related games, looking at you Ghost of Tsushima. But Ubisoft seemed to have just got a better formula this time around. The prologue really drew me into the story from the get-go, which was a welcome change to the past titles. So let's take a break from the story and break down the main trophies in this step. The game is broken into 3 acts, and each act has its own trophy attached to it, with a final trophy for completing the epilogue. Which, without getting too ahead of myself, this game has a really bad tracking system of where these trophies pop. Back into the story though, and now we get a healing montage of Nawe building her strength after the wound she sustained. And to finish it off, we get to chop down some bamboo. Ooh, look at those physics. Shoved down my face, cough cough, nice one Ubisoft. Before heading to our next mission, I decided to get one of the many WaifuKiwi collectibles which is needed for the trophy Zen Master. And listen, hear me out on here, but just imagine if Guitar Hero only had opera songs instead of rock. Well, this is the outcome of that. Ooh, you're getting sleepy. Ooh, you're hitting the subscriber button. We then get to see a new feature to Assassin's Creed where we get to build our own hideout, which seemed like a fun change, but you need loads of materials to build stuff. And the fact that there's more trophies attached to this area, I couldn't make the base I would have liked to, but for now I'm happy with the trophy for unlocking the hideout. We also get a look at the mission board, which shows us all the main quests and side quests of the game. And on to another new feature of this game, which has a trophy connected to it called Scouting Mission. Basically, whilst looking at the map, we are given a very small amount of scouts to try to find the location of the character we are to meet. and the only information that we have to go off on is this small hint at the top left, which doesn't sound too annoying of a concept, and it could be a cool feature for others, but my ADHD brain rot could not function with such a high maintenance. But we eventually pop the trophy and I instantly turn this feature off. Carrying on with the main story, we meet a character called Yaya, and I also pop a trophy for doing so. We then go to take over a castle and have this kinda cringe walk scene, like bruh, this aren't no Marvel universe, chill. Inside the castle, we finally find the man who was responsible for our father's death, and even though there was loads of people that did stuff to him, he was the one that did the killing blow.
It's what you and your kind deserve.
Wait, hold up. What did that guy just say about your kind? This motherfucking racist. Finally, after what felt like hours, we finally get to see Yasuke again. And we have come here to assassinate his boss, Oda Nobunaga, that ends with this crazy fight scene with everything burning around us. And just before we can do the finishing blow, Yasuke stops us. We then have to fight him, which of course we badly lose, but just before he's about to kill us, he sees our assassin's knife and drops us. But for now, we are left on that crazy cliffhanger on what the knife means to him, but finally, not long after, we get to play as Yasuke again.
Get out the way.
We then join forces with Naoe to defeat the Shinbaku, and then we pop a trophy for finishing Act 1. So now we get to finally play as Yasuke whenever we feel like it. So of course, I've got to do the teabag. And secondly, jump off one of the synchronization perches for the trophy Leap of Fail. I love that they've added this feature into the game. I fully expected him to just jump off like normal, not realizing that this dude is an absolute beast.
I am too old for this.
I then get a trophy called the Thief for meeting another ally. Whilst doing the side missions to assassinate Shinbaku, I also pop a trophy called Mortal Reminder for completing my first objective board. It's crazy that it's took me this long, but I also take a look through the skills of this game, which are called Mastery. And I know that there's a massive 8 trophies attached to this, so for now, I decided to leave it alone. So now we invade a castle so we can defeat one of the Shinbaku, and I really love how this game gives you the option on who you want to play as. I do love Assassin's Creed's past titles, but I do like the more run in, parry and fight hordes of enemies approach that Yasuke gives. But also the fact that during the main missions you switch between them both to move the story fluidly. And even in the final fight against a Shinbaku member, we are also given the choice on who we want to fight as. I then backtrack a little to one of the allies from earlier called Yaya, and after finishing her mission, we pop the trophy Build Your League for recruiting our first ally. I then do the backstory mission for how Yasuke was trained to become a samurai, which ends with a very hype moment of Oda Nobunaga giving him the title of samurai, and finally Diogo decides to name himself Yasuke.
My name is Yasuke.
And here's a little behind the scenes moment for me. Every time I try to say Oda Nobunaga, I mess it up so much. It must easily take me 10 attempts every single time just to say that name. Anyway, another cool feature is the option to just switch out between characters mid-gaming, just like where I couldn't jump to the higher place as Yasuke, so I switched to Naoe and boom, it's easy. Although it would be pretty cool to have it similar to GTA 5, where when you switch they're just doing random things, but I suppose for the convenience of doing it, it is nice that you're still in the same spot. I then meet another ally, and after speaking to her, we pop a trophy for it. During one of the missions, I get another 2 trophies, and the first one has to be the most boring possible way to pop the trophy Acrobats, which is for performing a leap of faith from a grappling hook, and just look how terrible this was. The next one is yet again another grappling trophy, Hook, Line and Swinger, but luckily this one was hard for me to mess up, and I popped the trophy. So now I take a break from the story and focus on leveling up, because I was starting to fall behind, and let's just say I was absolutely getting destroyed at times. So during this, I earned 5 trophies: Good Form, Kofun Raider, Giant Slayer, Better Than a Bucket and Master Samurai. So the first one we earn is Good Form, which we get whilst doing one of those button pressing minigames that kinda gives us combos to using the game, which yeah, I don't think I've done that once. But anyway, after we finish our first minigame, which is called a kata, we pop the trophy. The next trophy we get is Kofun Raider, which is for completing a Kofun, and these are basically dungeons we can explore, and when we open the chest at the end, we pop the trophy. This Kofun is also where I find the legendary Assassin's Creed armor, so you already know I have to instantly equip this. I then get the trophy Giant Slayer, which is for assassinating a powerful guardian in one go, which are basically just stronger enemies that we fight in this game. The next trophy I get is Better Than a Bucket, which is for equipping a legendary item in every slot. Next is a trophy Master Samurai, which is for parrying an incoming projectile, and I was so unprepared for this trophy that I literally only got a glimpse of the trophy pop. So the reason I was doing all the leveling was for this specific boss right here. This is against a Shinbak Fu member, and I was literally just getting one-shot constantly. So I went off, did a little side journey, and came back to whoop this kid. And after he's dead, we pop the trophy and oath fulfilled for finishing Act 2. Carrying on with the missions, I pop another trophy called Pathfinder, which is for visiting every single province on the map. I now decide to work on Yasuke's origin story, which revolves around the organisation of pirates who once held Yasuke captive as a slave. And whilst doing one of these missions, I am fighting a group of enemies and decide to use one of the abilities to kick an enemy, which at the time I didn't realise this would result in a trophy, but what I didn't expect was my game to crash from the kick either. Damn, that kick must have been strong. I finally fight the second to last member of the Shinbak Fu, and this fight again caused me a little bit of problem. One thing I hate about this game was how slow the leveling was. I did so much more content than I actually needed to, but I still was always underleveled. Come on, come on, come on, it's so close, so close, so close. Fucking look at this health, man. Come on. Let's go. Oh, fuck's sake, you're so close. Like, what, one more hit? Finally, after that close attempt, we defeat him, and thank God that was done. That was a stressful fight. But now we are moving on to our final Shinbak Fu. And now, on to the last Shinbak Fu, who's just this old dude. And I'm trying to be purposely vague on the identity of this man, so you guys can enjoy the story just as much as I have. And that's it. There's the fall of the Shinbak Fu trophy, right? Well, no. Because like I said earlier, I soon learned that the trophies sometimes pop much later than they should. Which you can tell by my complete confusion, because I'm just stood there like, huh? What's going on? Well, guess what? Not long after this, my game crashes, and when I load back up, the trophy pops. So I haven't got the recording here, because why would I be recording when the game has just started? So let's pretend it pops now. So all that's left now, story-wise, is the trophy epilogue. But to earn that, we need to complete all the quests that are linked to the 2 playable characters. So first, I finish off Yasuke's pirate organization mission, which ends with us fighting the leader of the organization. Wait, what? Why is the lyric saying ginger? Ginger, what the f*** did he say ginger over and over again? The questline then ends with this epic final scene to conclude Yasuke's story. On to Naoe's story now, which has us exploring loads of Kofuns until we find out about the origins of the assassins, and how they was once called the Kakushiba Iki. At this point I was so confused on what was next, so I finished up some side character stories. And finally we get the trophy for completing Act 3. Now the epilogue trophy pops, but of course worst case scenario happens here, and whilst viewing this beautiful scenery, my screen crops for some reason and cut out the trophy. But at least you can hear the noise, I guess. Now that the main game is done, let's move on to step 2. Which I start by meeting the remaining 3 allies needed for the trophies, the Toxin Master, the Ronin, and the Eager Assassin. The first side character I meet is Oni Yuri, who has been poisoning the local thug's food, which after confronting her about this, she just walks off to plan her revenge on the thugs again. And after the cutscene finishes, our trophy unlocks. Next is for the Ronin Ibuki, who we help by stopping an attack on some villagers. And after we finish talking to him, we pop the trophy. The final side character is an aspiring shinobi who we help by killing a samurai. And after we finish the cutscene, we pop the trophy, right? Wait, where is the trophy? Oh my god, he's just one-shot me, what the hell? Wait, this is literally the shinobi trophy from earlier. Okay, I guess we get it now then. Now we go back to the collectibles, which starts with my personal favourite, Chill Guitar Hero, which starts off fine, but there's 22 of these and they're all over the map. So by the end of this, I was ready to fall asleep with the chillness. But we're back awake for the trophy. Now I go for the trophy Limitless, which is for getting a legendary item for every weapon / armor piece in the game, which can easily be found by completing the castles around the map, and once I open the chest, the trophy pops. The next trophy I go for is Suit Yourself, which is for fully upgrading your rations, basically the things you use to heal. But whilst this sounds easy to do, it has a super long dragged out process of achieving it, so whilst going for it, I get another trophy called Collector, which is for completing a collection of items, and I have no idea how I was able to capture this trophy, because just like before, I had a game crash, so this time I knew to get that recording started straight away, and luckily I managed to just catch this trophy popping. So remember earlier how I said I really like the hideout but the materials are annoying? Well, here's why, because to get the Suit Yourself trophy I need to build 2 buildings. One is a Shihiki and the second is a tea room, which combined used up all the materials I had, and this isn't even the last trophy unlocked here. But anyway, after farming some materials, which I did by doing castles and pre-warning because I'm a complete idiot for doing this, I eventually get enough materials and pop the Suit Yourself trophy. And here's why I am the idiot. Do you see this? Do you see those materials? Well, guess what? These are called contracts and I need to do 9 of these for the trophy Would You Kindly. I was about would you kindly put those balls in your mouth? But anyway, sorry for my rage quit, but after we finish the 9th, we pop the trophy and unlimited materials. And then finally, the last collectible of the game, which is, drumroll please, for going inside this waterfall at the hideout. On to step 3 now, and the first one I get is by complete random whilst going for the front of the pack. And the trophy is Against Wood and Stone, which is for fully upgrading a building in the hideout. And then shortly after, the trophy Front of the Pack, which is for fully upgrading the allies' abilities, which I've never even used in the game to be honest. Next, another trophy I get by complete random, and I still don't even know what I did to pop it, which is called Sometimes. Apparently I did a perfect roll I guess. Anyway, after that, I decided to pop 2 trophies, which are Art of Ninjutsu and Art of Kenjutsu. These are for fully unlocking all the skills in the Shinobi Mastery for Naoe, and all the skills in the Samurai Mastery for Yasuke. Next, I pop another fast trophy in my hideout, which is for engraving a weapon. Next is the trophy Test Your Might, and I've been looking forward to this one because the description makes it sound like a Mortal Kombat type tournament. And oh boy was it, because the final boss fight was actually pretty difficult. If it wasn't for my character being OP at this point, I think I would have struggled here. But eventually, we kill the final enemy and pop our trophy. With that done, I pop another easy attainable trophy now called In Case of Trouble, which is for fully upgrading our tools and ammunition, which again, super easy to do because I just prepared for these trophies and never once spent my skill points.
Ooh.
Finally, it's that time to pop some super quick trophies, so let's do this rapid fire. First is for escaping an enemy whilst breathing underwater with a reed. Second is for distracting an enemy 3 times with my balls, shinobi balls. Third is for stabbing this dude in the balls. Okay, seriously, this was actually a pretty cool trophy. The fourth is for using my samurai stand ability and then performing a finisher on an enemy. The fifth is performing a finisher on an enemy that is poisoned and dazed. And let me tell you, this trophy pissed me off. I could just not get both effects on one enemy because these noobs just die too easy. But anyway, trophy, boom. Next is for putting my weapon away after causing bleed on an enemy and then letting them die, which I got super lucky on this timing. And finally, last but not least, Adventurer, which is for, yeah, that's right, shooting an enemy in the knee with a bow and arrow.
I used to be an adventurer like you, and I took an arrow in the knee.
Now the next big trophy I go for is Rare Occurrence, which is, if you haven't heard of this trophy, it can be a massive grind. Basically, you need to find and draw these 5 legendary animals, which are only available during different seasons of the game. Which at first, I love the game's aspects of different season and how it evolves, but not when it takes 3 real life hours to pass a season, which means for someone like me who didn't start this trophy till now, it was a 12-hour trophy to earn. So whilst we wait for that trophy, I pop 2 others, which is for adapting an animal and then place it in our hideout, and then for placing our first drawing of a Sumi E in our hideout. And that's basically everything done, and now it's the waiting game, and for most people this is going to kill them waiting for seasons to pass, but for me, nah, I'll just play some old school RuneScape like the dirty degenerate I am. And finally, after hours of waiting and me getting one single rune crafting level, we pop the longest trophy of the game. Well, not exactly, but yeah, you get it. And I saved the best till last, Happy Place, which is for reaching the highest point of the map. Holy shit, look at those views. Oh, a trophy as well, let's go. Let's go. Platinum. Hey, there it is. The plat. Let's go. Perfect screenshot as well. Look at the recording. And that's that. That's this unbelievably beautiful game done. Honestly, after Mirage, I low-key gave up on the Assassin's Creed series, but this game has completely revived my love for this franchise. So I would 100% recommend this game, but of course, don't forget the legendary animals first. Anyway, thank you for watching guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and also join the Discord, I need friends. Peace.